Tensions in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden are now at an all-time high after 3 sailors of a Barbados-flagged merchant vessel were killed in a fresh missile attack by the Houthi militant group. Now, this is for the first time deaths have been reported in attack on cargo ships that have been going on for the past few months. The escalating attacks in the region are not just threatening the ships, but also major shipping routes in the region, threatening not just these companies that are operating these ships, but overall economies of the global south.
The campaign of attacks by Yemen's Houthis on commercial ships in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden has claimed its first casualties. A missile strike on a Barbados-flagged dry bulk carrier in the Gulf of Aden killed 3 seafarers and injured 4 others. The Indian Navy launched a rescue operation after the strike. Indian naval ship Kolkata, deployed for maritime security operations, arrived on the scene and rescued 21 crew members, including 1 Indian national, from a life raft using its integral helicopter and boats. The Houthis, who control Yemen's capital and most populous areas, have targeted international shipping in the Red Sea in what they say is in solidarity with Palestinians against Israel, drawing US and British retaliatory strikes since last month.
The naval forces of the Yemeni armed forces carried out a targeting operation against the American ship True Confidence in the Gulf of Aden with a number of naval missiles. The strike was accurate and led to a fire breaking out on vessel. The targeting operation came after the ship's crew ignored warning messages from the Yemeni naval forces.
Meanwhile, the US in return has reiterated that it will continue to hold the Houthis accountable for the attacks.
The Houthis have continued to launch these reckless attacks with no regard for the well-being of innocent civilians who are transiting through the Red Sea, and now they have unfortunately and tragically killed innocent civilians. And so the United States will continue to hold the Houthis accountable for their attacks, which have not just disrupted international commerce, not just disrupted the freedom of navigation in international waters, and not just endangered seafarers, but now tragically killed a number of them.
The danger of attacks, however, is only expected to increase as Houthi leadership has threatened with more advanced attacks in the region.
Our military operations will continue and advance as we have surprises that our enemies will not expect at all. We don't want to talk about it. We wanted to start with actions and follow it up with talking, and it will be a surprise for our enemies, far from the expectations of our enemies and our allies.
The Houthis have attacked more than 40 ships since the start of their campaign in November. However, there had been no serious injuries so far. The most serious previous assault on the 19th of February led to the sinking of the dry bulk carrier Rubimar. Its crew abandoned ship safely. The Houthi strikes are targeting a route that accounts for about 15% of the world's shipping traffic, forcing several shipping companies to reroute their vessels. Sales and production of several global brands, trade and manufacturing of goods have all been impacted, leading to a persistent threat to the economies of the developing countries in the region.
India is marching ahead with the fortification of the Indian Ocean region against the backdrop of evolving geopolitical dynamics, regional challenges, and the current volatile maritime security situation in the region. In a latest move, now India has inaugurated a new naval base called INS Jatayu. This base is situated on the Minicoy island of Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea, and it aims at enhancing the operational capability and situation awareness of the Navy amid these volatile times.
With rising concerns over maritime security amidst expanding Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region, India has inaugurated INS Jatayu, a new naval base located at the southernmost tip of Lakshadweep Islands in western Indian Ocean region. The Indian Navy had a detachment in Minicoy, but now a full-fledged base will enhance the Navy's operational capabilities in the area.
Right now we are at the beautiful beaches of Minicoy Island of Lakshadweep.
same Minicoy Island, which is at the southwesternmost part of India and is famous for its beautiful lagoons and beaches. But this is not the only attraction of Minicoy Island anymore, as the Indian Navy now has inaugurated a naval base at this island that has been named INS Jatayu. It is located near 9-degree channel from where a huge chunk of trade passes. Now talking about the trade that goes to the southeastern nations, that goes on from here. A lot of oil trade in the world, in fact majority of oil trade of the world goes through these channels.
The Indian Navy Chief called the commissioning of INS Jatayu a historic moment for strengthening India's situation awareness in the region.
We have named this unit after the legendary Jatayu because we feel that this unit will should respond in the same way as the legendary Jatayu in providing situational awareness to Bharatiya Nausena, just like the legendary Jatayu provides that situational awareness to Lord Ram. We are looking at having the infrastructure, operational infrastructure, as well as administrative infrastructure improved. Capability will be enhanced. There will be more units based here. The radar surveillance capability, the ability to provide maritime domain awareness, all that will increase substantially. And this is very close to the 9-degree channel. So this is the region through which a lot of maritime traffic flows both into and out of the Arabian Sea.
INS Jatayu marks the start of a phased expansion plan to bolster India's surveillance and security posture near the 9-degree channel. The facility currently has ship docking and other platforms, with plans to include deployment of airstrips, advanced sensors, radars and BrahMos missiles on the island. To further enhance operational capabilities in the Indian Ocean region, the Navy also commissioned a squadron of MH-60R helicopters considered the most advanced in anti-submarine operations.
The Indian Navy has always fulfilled its roles and responsibilities of being a resident power in the Indian Ocean region. And whenever help has been sought from the Indian Navy, help has been provided, especially in the past few months, be it anti-narcotics operation, anti-piracy operations, or providing help to the merchant vessels that have been attacked. The Indian Navy has been at the forefront of providing help. And now, with the commissioning of INS Jatayu, a naval base in the southwesternmost part of the country, the strength and situational awareness capabilities of the Indian Navy will see multifold rise for a more safe, secure and prosperous Indian Ocean region. In Minicoy, Lakshadweep, with camera person Vishwakarma Goyal, Akshay Dongre, DD India. Meanwhile, DD India also spoke exclusively to the Chief of Indian Navy, Admiral R. Hari Kumar, on the commissioning of India's naval base and a historic 3-day Naval Commanders Conference that is also being held in the backdrop of the evolving geopolitical situation in not just the Indian Ocean region but also in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden amid the recent rise in attacks. We are right now on the decks of INS Vikrant, one of the largest ships of the Indian Navy and the biggest example of Make in India initiative and the success of India in this front. And with us we have Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral R. Hari Kumar with us. Sir, it's a privilege to talk to you here on the deck of INS Vikrant. Make in India has become reality now, but as we talk about Make in India, before that we would like to talk about the biggest news of the day. INS Jatayu has been commissioned at the southernmost island of the Western Front. Sir, what is the relevance of the base? What would you like to talk about?
This is the southernmost island, extent of our land territory on the west coast of the west coast. So we have had a naval presence there in terms of detachment for quite some time, but we felt that this is now the time has come to commission it as a unit, so that we can further the development of capability in the islands. We have to have better surveillance. We have to have a response capability. We need to know what is happening in this area, who is operating, why they are operating, etc. So by commissioning this unit there, it will increase our capability as well as provide capacity for undertaking various tasks.
Make in India, the future of Indian Navy and the dream of a developed India by 2047. How is the Indian Navy playing its role?
We have given a commitment to our national leadership that by 2047, when the nation becomes a fully developed country, we'll also have Bharatiya Nausena as a fully Atmanirbhar Nausena. So we are working towards that, and as you said, we had progressed from very modest beginnings, long back, to building an aircraft carrier. There are very few countries which can build an aircraft carrier, and here we have about 75% indigenous content. And we are every ship that we make, the percentage is increasing. So the main challenges as of now, if you ask me, it's main propulsion part of it. That is the engines, the gas turbines, the gas turbine generators, 2-3 things like that, which already we have started to make projects on that, and we are confident in about 4-5 years time we should be able to have our own engines. So that is one part of it. The second part, which is also a challenge, is the weapons component. So today we are around 50-55% in terms of the weapons and sensors. So we are now working aggressively towards it to ensure that we are able to have our own weapons.
Shehbaz Sharif has assumed the office of Prime Minister amid elections controversy in Pakistan. Despite promises of urgent reforms, doubts linger about his ability to tackle the nation's challenges. Allegations of electoral irregularities and manipulation cast a shadow over the legitimacy of his mandate, raising questions about the very foundation of Pakistan's democratic process.
After a divisive national election in Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif took oath as Prime Minister to officially assume the cash-strapped country's reins for a second time.
Mia Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif Saab has secured 201 votes.
Sharif emphasized the need for urgent reforms and called for revolutionary changes in the system.
Jointly, we decided that we have to do deep surgery now. We have to bring revolutionary changes in the system. We have to bring basic reforms in different departments.
The move comes 3 weeks after an inconclusive general election that was marred by allegations of intimidation and vote rigging.
Who will accept this election? The entire election was based on fraud. The election results were already sold out.
Pakistanis expressed concern over the cost of living and the deteriorating economy, with many saying the Prime Minister may not be able to tackle the situation.
He has become Prime Minister out of a fake vote, and I don't think Pakistan's condition will improve. The situation is further deteriorating, and the people are nearly crushed under inflation. The electricity and gas prices have gone up. Transport is costly. I don't think this Prime Minister will be able to fix things.
This will not make a difference. The condition of the people is deteriorating day by day, and their problems will not be solved by this. This is the continuity of the same status quo which has prevailed in the country from the beginning, and it seems that it will continue to prevail. People are worried about inflation and high prices.
Despite Prime Minister Sharif's promises of large-scale changes, many Pakistanis remain doubtful about the prospects of a meaningful reform under the new leadership, leaving the country's fate hanging in balance.
Political instability coupled with military's direct intervention in country's economic policies. This is the reality of Pakistan today, which has led to an economic downturn that still deteriorates the country's economic outlook. Over the last few years, not only has Pakistani rupee plummeted in value, skyrocketing inflation continues to cause significant damage to the public. To make matters much worse, IMF's $3 billion bailout package for Pakistan to avoid defaulting on debt repayment expires next month. This has led to malnutrition problems and lowered living standards. Around 24% of Pakistan's population lives below the poverty line. 36% of children under the age of 5 are still suffering from stunted growth. Pakistan's economic woes, worsened by political instability, military intervention, and reliance on external bailouts, have resulted in a dire situation with soaring inflation, resulting in declining currency value and widespread poverty and malnutrition. Without significant reforms and sustainable policies, the country's economic outlook remains bleak, posing immense challenge for its citizens and policymakers alike. And we will take a small break here and be back with more Global South stories on the other side. Keep watching.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibilities. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action, stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution. This series is going to tell stories of such change makers. Watch Change Makers on DD India.
Welcome back, you're watching DD India and this is Voice of the Global South. Let's move on to our next story. Diplomatic tensions have soared once again between China and the Philippines as the accusations fly over a recent clash involving their Coast Guard vessels. Amid the escalating crisis, global powers have weighed in cautiously, with Australia advocating for adherence to a rule-based order. The US has pledged an unwavering support for the Philippines once again. Is another war brewing in the region? Let's take a look at this report.
Tensions between China and the Philippines have once again flared up. This time around, it is because of collision between the Coast Guard vessel of China and a supply boat of Philippines. Accusing China of deliberately stirring up trouble in the region, Philippines said that 4 of its personnel were injured in the incident.
The Chinese Coast Guard conducted provocative, unilateral, illegal, and unprofessional acts that is conduct unbecoming of a Coast Guard officer and is a stain on the Coast Guard uniform we proudly wear. We hold the Chinese Coast Guard responsible for their actions.
The country's president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., also slammed China, calling its actions dangerous and alarming. Beijing, on the other hand, has accused Manila of endangering peace in the South China Sea.
The Chinese Coast Guard responded to the Philippines' infringement and provocation at the Renai Shoal in accordance with the law and took necessary enforcement measures that were legitimate, legal, professional, restrained and beyond reproach. In this incident, who is initiating the provocation? Who violated international law and endangered peace and stability in the South China Sea? The truth is clear.
As the crisis shows no sign of abating, other countries have been urging restraint. Australia has called for a return to a rules-based order, while US has vowed to stand by the Philippines.
In the shadow of economic turmoil and political unrest, Iran recently conducted its presidential elections, witnessing a historic low turnout of only 41%. The outcome of this election transcends mere numbers. It's a pivotal moment in Iran's journey towards defining its future. Will the people grant their support to the ruling elite? The answer may reshape the course of Iran's history.
Iran's recent parliamentary election served as a test for the clerical establishment's legitimacy amid escalating economic woes. According to the government, turnout staggered at approximately 41%, marking the lowest participation rate since the 1979 Islamic Revolution that ushered in Iran's clerical rulers. Despite efforts to extend polling hours, voter engagement failed to surpass the levels witnessed in the 2020 election. Out of Iran's 61 million voters, a mere 25 million cast their ballot in the parliamentary polls held on March 1st.
Compared to the last rounds, I think these 2 years had a lower participation rate.
This is the first poll since nationwide protests erupted over the death of Mahsa Amini in September 2022. The 22-year-old woman was arrested by the morality police for wearing a loose hijab, had died in custody. The demonstration that followed soon became a large movement against the regime. Several protesters were arrested and execution hit a record high as officials used force to curb dissent. The lower turnout is a reflection of Iranians' continued disillusionment with the authorities post the protests. Economic distress too looms large over Iran, with soaring inflation exceeding 40%, coupled with youth unemployment hovering around 20%. The national currency's sharp depreciation against the dollar exacerbates citizens' financial woes, compounded by escalating housing costs, reduced fuel quotas and surging internet service prices.
Nowadays, the issues of people is the economy and financial issue, but I consider the political issues to be the basis of these financial problems. If they are solved and if there is a democratic freedom, the financial issues will also be dealt with and solved.
Amidst the backdrop of economic turmoil and political repression, Iran's parliamentary election assumes heightened significance, particularly with regards to the assembly of experts responsible for appointing the supreme leader. Ayatollah Khomeini's successor will be selected by the influential assembly, underscoring the enduring dominance of the clerical elite in Iran's unique blend of clerical and republican governance. The withdrawal of the United States from the 2015 nuclear deal and the subsequent reimposition of sanctions have inflicted severe economic hardship on Iran, thwarting efforts to revive the faltering agreement. As Iran grapples with the fallout of geopolitical tensions and economic strife, the election result isn't just about numbers, it's also about the future of clerical rule in the country. The resounding question remains: will the people of Iran give them the support they want?
4 indigenous Bolivian women who have climbed some of the Latin America's tallest peaks have now set their sight on the world's highest, Mount Everest. With challenging the norms, they are aiming to climb Everest summit in their traditional skirts instead of the usual gear that is worn by the climbers.
Julia Kispitinkota and her fellow Amira indigenous women are defying convention as they climb Latin America's most challenging peaks. Spurning modern gear, they ascend in their billowing red skirts, carrying their belongings with them.
As we have worked as carriers, we are used to carry weights. For example, we went to Aconcagua mountain in Argentina. I didn't use any Sherpa.
Having conquered Aconcagua and Del Salado, now they set their sights on the ultimate challenge, Mount Everest.
I want to be the first Polera woman to arrive at the Everest summit because I want to wave our Polera skirt and the Bolivian flag.
Within their resilience and determination, they seek to make history, relying on support from companies and tourists they've guided. As they prepare to embark on this extraordinary journey, they embody the spirit of adventure and unity with the mountains, seeking to inspire women everywhere to reach new heights.
This is all we have for you in this edition of Voice of the Global South. Let us know your thoughts on the program. You can also connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. From all of us here in New Delhi, Thanks for watching a special program. News and updates continue on DD India. Keep watching.